Unfortunately, Mike, we got to talk about the Giants literally giving a game away today. That's how we're starting. But I will say this, as I was hanging out with both you guys in person, and I had a lot of fun. That
Yeah.
was the most fun I've had watching the Giants lose a game probably ever, just because of where we were.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely. So we were at a gay bar,
Well, you got to
and
break the whole story down first. How did
we
we
did.
end up there?
Well, I mean, Brian suggested it, and it was great. That's the whole story. I don't have. There's no like
The hot dog
major.
place.
Well, yeah, we were at one bar that only had pretzels and hot dogs, which was fine, and then we ended up at a different bar that had the game on that just happened to be a gay bar down the block, and I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was a
Yeah.
good time, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no. It was just this weird sensation where you're watching the Giants lose, and so this bar that we were at was having a drag brunch at the same time as the game was playing. So there was like this like loud gay techno music coming from like 40 feet away
Yeah.
while the football game was on the TV over here. And then, the Giants lose, and then a bunch of dudes in like dresses and wigs and thongs just walk through the bar. Like, it was the strangest duality of worlds, but it was
Right.
fucking awesome.
It was the best duality of worlds.
It was a
Right.
great
Best
time.
duality.
I had a great time. It's impossible to be angry and upset in that particular environment where literally everyone is just partying at 3 in the afternoon on a Sunday
Yeah.
and enjoying
Yeah.
themselves. I had a
The
good
vibes
time,
were
man.
amazing.
The
Vibes
food
were
was
always
good.
good,
Yeah,
man.
the vibes were amazing.
The food was
Yeah,
really
no,
good.
shout out to Branded Saloon. It's
Hell yeah.
it's my place.
What
Yeah,
was the
I
name
mean,
of it?
and
Branded.
I'm thrilled
Branded
that
Saloon.
I'm thrilled that the Jets I'm thrilled that the Jets won,
Just-
even though it was such a shit show today.
Well,
I
you
mean,
called
it was,
it. You called it.
I did call it.
Yeah.
I did call it. We saw it with our friend Chris. Shout out to our buddy Chris.
Chris
Yeah.
Boo.
No, I did call it. I called it was going to be a shit show too. I called like it was going to be a low scoring game because we won, but just like when my buddy who's a Patriots fan, like when they beat us this season, he was like, it was a win, but it didn't feel like a win. Like I mean,
Is how you feel today, Brian?
I gotta say, I was pretty hyped. I was pretty hyped at like I was pretty hyped at the fact that we were able to get the field goal and we were able to just I mean basically continue to like extend the game into overtime. Like it was great, but like at the same time it was I mean so many injuries, constant injuries. It was such a slow game too as well, with like not a lot happening. And
No,
I mean,
no.
but the big highlight is of course fucking DeVito. Being
Tommy
the
D.
fucking man for you guys. That
We
fucking
have
gabagool.
Jersey Italian at QB
Oh,
finally.
he's such a gabagool. He is such a fucking gabagool.
How much you want to bet he's attended games as a fan before and gotten in fights in the stands, and now he's playing for the team?
he
Yeah.
also just like I mean like I saw like a TikTok of him with like just like a white beater and chains and like
The
just like
headband.
a headband too. Basically
Like every
dude,
Jersey, yeah.
or
Yeah.
every dude on Grinder that tries to act like a top like that.
That's
Just
how they
channeling
do.
his inner
I was
Pauly
like,
D.
okay. I've seen that before.
Yeah,
But
he's got the vibe that his uncle knew somebody who was close to the Maras, and they're like, just give my nephew a shot, and he got on the team that way. Yeah,
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
else.
exactly. Like somebody
Yeah.
got threatened at
Yeah.
in the back of an Italian restaurant. That's how he got
Yeah.
that starting gig today. That's
He gets paid in Manila envelopes.
no,
that are like,
yeah, exactly.
"Give this to Tom." Yeah,
And his uncle's in waste management at the Meadowlands too as well.
yeah. That's exactly it.
his uncle knows where what's his name is buried under the
Um,
stadium. Yeah,
As far as the
Yeah.
game goes, I feel like Brian, and congrats on the win, because like the Giants suck, and we talked about how much they sucked a few weeks ago. I don't need to go into that again, but I
Yeah.
feel like it wasn't so much that the Jets won the game as much as the Giants lost the game. Like that's kind of my feelings towards it. 2 missed field goals and a critical
Graham Gano.
PI. I mean, it's just
I mean,
they had opportunities to win and they gave them all away. So
Graham
Yeah.
Ganono.
Yeah, and it was just like I mean, like my biggest criticism, I think Zach Wilson like was doing well, like he was scrambling and shit, but like our offensive line was absolutely dog shit. Like honestly, it wasn't him. It wasn't. He got sacked like I mean, I want to say he got sacked like 4 times. I mean, he fumbled in the first quarter after a sack, and I was like, well, I mean, being a pessimistic Jets fan, I was like, oh, that's the game.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was our O line was complete dog shit, and yeah,
Welcome to
we
our
were,
world, buddy.
yeah. So, but like, no, being in a gay bar was great, especially because we were supposed to for Phil's girlfriend,
Right.
um,
That's what I was alluding to. The
go.
whole fiasco of
Sure.
trying to plan. No, just
Oh,
trying to
you're getting
plan
on
the
my
whole
lady.
weekend.
Because of Phil's girlfriend
No,
and
no, no.
his dog, we had to adjust her
whole-
plans, and then she was sick and couldn't come, which is pretty
Well,
gay.
that was the
I
bar
have
that
to
you
say.
picked anyway.
Yeah, we went back to the
Pretty
Finn's
gay
was
of her. Yeah.
She's pretty. I'll tell her you
Not
said
the good,
that.
not the good kind of gay either. No, like the kind of gay like you called someone in middle school who like.
Yeah, no,
Right.
believe me, that'd be
Yeah.
great. But so, Mike, you texted me after the game when I was on my
Yeah.
way home, and you said that this game, there was a statistic behind this game, that this game had a certain record.
Yeah.
That for
So
like this should give everybody an idea of how terrible this game was.
okay, so I sent it to you on Instagram, so I'm just gonna open it up here. And it is.
I know what it was. I just want to hear you say it.
I
'Cause
want
it
to
was
see the
terrible.
number. There's the Bill Nye thing I sent you. That was cool. We were talking about Bill Nye, and then I found a Bill Nye thing. Anyway,
Love me some Bill Nye.
so Barstool New York NYC put up this thing, and I'll show it in a second. It's 24. The 24 combined punts in the Jets Giants game today were the most in a game since 2003. So the good folks over at Barstool New York.
We just
on the
watched the
money.
worst football game in 20 years, fellas.
Yeah.
That's what that
Yeah.
means. Like,
Yeah.
it was that fucking terrible. It was so
Yeah.
bad.
I mean,
I mean,
that's the thing. It was like I'm glad we won, and I was excited at the end of it, but like it just didn't feel great. It was just,
No, the
it's
Jets.
just-
Yeah, the Jets are still in
It's
it.
bad.
The Giants are dead in the water, and now everybody's like, "Let's trade Saquon and get the picks." And I don't want to
Yeah,
lose him, but it's like
I'm
we
one of
need
those people.
something. Yeah,
No,
we need something.
And not just him. Anybody who's of anything of value that other teams might want for their push.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's any teams that are desperate and willing to give you like a pick higher than you would have normally get, or even some other developmental pieces, just something. Right. And again, by the way, I like Saquon, for the record. I like
Yeah.
him a lot.
No, me
But
too.
If
I don't
you
want to
can,
lose him.
if you
but-
can fucking fleece some team, you got to do it now. You got to, because this
Yeah.
team's going nowhere. I mean, best case scenario, the Giants go on a run, they make the lowest seed wild card, and they get blown out in the first fucking game of the playoffs. That's not what we live for in New York. We live for rings. So you know what? Fucking burn it to the ground. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get ready for the next year.
Trade
That's all I'll
him.
say.
Trade him to a winning team. Let him experience a victory. How much longer is his career going to be? The shelf life isn't long for running backs anymore, which is stupid because the league is weird about that. But
Well, NFL players in general, the shelf life's only about 3 years. So, and
I
he's
mean,
already lived like 2 of them.
like-
I'd love to see it
and
for
like
him.
and like running backs take like so much damage too as well.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
so,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I mean Saquon is great for you guys, but if you did trade him and tried to like rebuild, that will be good. I mean, the question is now who's going to be your quarterback. I don't know what's good with Tyrod. I don't know what's.
he's in the hospital. He's staying overnight. I heard on the radio for observation.
At least he gets an extra serving of Jello.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
So-
Tommy DeVito, that's your guy now. That hopefully,
Yeah,
Big
and that's the thing.
was
That
very
is the
good.
sign right now that some mob boss's fucking nephew is starting for the Giants now. That's it. That is. It's time to just blow it up for the year and just give
I'll
up.
take it,
Give up
yeah.
hope. I feel like this day in general, because it was so gloomy and cloudy out, it's a perfect metaphor for what the Giants have been
Yeah.
through this year. But I think pretty much. I mean, congrats on the win to Brian and all the Jets fans. You guys won an extremely ugly game, but hey, a dub's a dub.
A dub is a dub.
We got to move on because this just hurts to talk about.